You ever notice how love is supposed to be this beautiful, magical, earth-shattering thing? But 9 times out of 10, it ends up feeling like you bought a ticket to the circus and accidentally wandered into the freak show. They tell you love is pure, love is noble, love is eternal. But have you ever actually looked at 2 people in love? It's not noble, it's not eternal. It's 2 confused mammals trying to mash their lives together like a couple of drunk clowns juggling flaming bowling pins. And most of the time, somebody's hair catches on fire. Love is the great contradiction. They sell you on the idea that it'll make your life better, simpler, happier. But then you're in it and suddenly everything is complicated. Your free time, gone. Your money, gone. Your privacy, gone. You're not even allowed to fart without it becoming a committee discussion. And yet we all sign up for it willingly, as if the promise of holding hands in public and splitting dessert makes up for the fact that you've just enlisted in a lifelong 3-ring circus, where the clowns never leave and the elephants crap all over the living room rug. And isn't it funny the way we talk about love? We say, falling in love, falling. That's what you do when you trip on a banana peel, not when you're supposedly entering the highest, most meaningful state of human connection. No one ever says, I carefully strolled into love. No, you fall. You tumble headfirst like an idiot into a situation that, if you really thought about it, you probably wouldn't sign up for in the first place. Nobody falls into doing their taxes, but they'll fall into a relationship with someone who thinks string cheese is a food group and keeps decorative pillows on the bed like they're running a hotel. And once you're in, the contradictions start right away. Love is supposed to set you free, but the first thing it does is lock you down. Suddenly you're not free to just go out for a burger at 2 a.m. without texting a progress report. You're not free to watch your favorite stupid TV show without someone saying, are we really watching this again? Love is freedom the way a straitjacket is freedom. You can move a little bit, but only within the carefully designated boundaries. And people defend this. They'll tell you, but you gain so much more. Yeah? You gain what? A second toothbrush in your bathroom that keeps falling into the sink. Half the blanket at night? A lifelong debate about which way the toilet paper roll should hang. Love is compromise, they say. Sure it is. It's 2 people taking turns being annoyed at each other but calling it balance. The circus analogy goes even deeper, though. Because in a relationship, you've got your clowns, your acrobats, your tightrope walkers, and your ringmaster. And sometimes you're all of them, all in the same night. 1 minute you're the clown making jokes to smooth over an argument. The next minute you're the acrobat, bending over backwards to keep the peace. Then you're the tightrope walker, trying to balance honesty with not sleeping on the couch. And the ringmaster. That's the one yelling, ladies and gentlemen, watch as these 2 idiots attempt the death-defying stunt of picking out a couch together without ending the relationship. The whole thing is absurd, and yet it's universal. Everyone wants to buy a ticket to this circus. Why? Because we're told it's the only show in town. You can't be an adult without it. If you're single too long, people start looking at you like you've got 3 heads. Oh, you're not seeing anyone? Really? Why not? As if happiness isn't real unless there's another human there to verify it. We're like a species of jugglers who keep trying to toss flaming torches at each other, hoping this time no one loses an eyebrow. And it's not just the big contradictions, it's the little ones too. You ever notice how people in love will say, I love everything about them? No, you don't. Nobody loves everything about anyone. You love most things and you tolerate the rest. You love their smile, their laugh, their kindness. You tolerate the way they chew like a horse, the way they sing off-key in the shower, and the way they leave their socks in a corner of the room as if the sock fairy is coming at midnight. But you never say, I tolerate you. Doesn't sound as sexy. Doesn't look good on a Hallmark card. Happy anniversary. I tolerate you more than anyone else in the world. And love makes hypocrites out of everyone. You'll say, I just want you to be yourself. But the minute they're really themselves, you go, oh well, not like that. You'll say, I love your spontaneity. Until it means you're on a surprise road trip to a state you don't even like. And you're sleeping in a motel that smells like sadness and burnt waffles. Then suddenly spontaneity is just another word for poor planning. And isn't it amazing how two people in love can look at the exact same situation and come away with completely different realities? She thinks it's romantic that you remembered her favorite flower. You think it's a miracle you remembered anything at all. You think it's efficient to put the milk back in the fridge with only half an inch left. She thinks it's a federal crime. You think going to bed without saying goodnight is no big deal. She thinks it's a declaration of emotional bankruptcy. Love isn't about being on the same page. It's about pretending the pages even belong to the same book. What really kills me is the way love makes people willingly blind. You ever talk to someone who just started dating? They'll say, he's so perfect. Perfect. He's not perfect, he's just new. Perfect means you haven't discovered his collection of toenail clippings yet. Perfect means you haven't heard her scream at a parking meter because it won't take quarters. Perfect means you haven't had to sit through their cousin's interpretive dance recital. Perfection has a shelf life of about 6 weeks. After that, you're in the circus with the rest of us, hoping the tent doesn't collapse. But maybe that's the point. Maybe love is supposed to be ridiculous. Maybe the contradictions, the juggling acts, the pratfalls are what keep it interesting. If it were easy, we wouldn't chase it so hard. If it made sense, we'd get bored. The very fact that love is the most confusing, frustrating, illogical thing in the world might be the exact reason we keep buying tickets. Because somewhere in the chaos, in between the clowns falling on their faces and the tightrope walkers nearly losing balance, there are those little flashes where it feels like magic. Not logical, not practical, but real enough to make you forget about the elephants on the rug for a while. And that's why it's a circus. Because a circus isn't about order, it's about spectacle. It's about stepping into the tent, watching the madness unfold, and laughing at how insane the whole production really is. Love is the only circus where you're both the performer and the audience, shaking your head and thinking, this is insane, while secretly hoping the show never ends. Do you ever really listen to the way people talk about love? I mean, really listen. The language of love is the funniest part of the whole deal. It's not poetry, it's not profound, it's a collection of cliches, half-truths, and outright lies that everybody agrees to repeat like parrots on Valentine's Day. Love has its own vocabulary, its own grammar, its own little dictionary full of words that don't mean what they sound like. It's the only language where F forever can last about 6 weeks and always is subject to cancellation fees. Think about the first thing people say, I'm in love. Like it's a swimming pool. You don't fall in a pool, you don't climb in a pool, you're just in it. And when it's over, you're suddenly out. What happened in the middle? Did somebody drain the pool? Did you lose your floaties? You never hear anyone say, I'm hovering near love or I'm adjacent to love. No, you're in, all the way, like a bad motel. And when you leave, you're out and it's checkout time, and don't forget to return the key. And people in love, they talk to each other in a way they would never talk to anyone else. You see grown adults, people with jobs, people with mortgages, turning into squeaky little cartoon characters. Hi, Snuggle Bear, how's my little muffin? 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 This is a human being, not a baked good. And what's with all the food references? Muffin, cupcake, honey, sugar, pie. If you overheard it without context, you'd think 2 diabetics were negotiating a bakery menu. Nobody ever says, oh, my little asparagus spear. But you could. Wouldn't make it less ridiculous in the baby talk. Oh my God, the baby talk. 2 people who could give a serious presentation at work, who could argue politics with conviction, suddenly switch into, I whittle snooky woogums. That's not love, that's temporary brain damage. Imagine trying that language anywhere else. You walk into the DMV and go, hi, Pookie Bear, I need to renew my license. They'd throw you out. But in love, totally acceptable. Somehow baby talk is the official dialect of romance. Then you've got the words people use to describe relationships. The soulmate, what the hell is that? A soulmate sounds like something you should find at a shoe store. Would you have this in my soulmate size? And the idea itself is hilarious. Out of billions of people, there's one perfect person. And guess what? They live within 15 miles of your house. What luck. Statistically, your soulmate should probably be a goat herder in Mongolia, but no, turns out it's Susan from accounting. Amazing coincidence. And then there's a better half. That one kills me. This is my better half. So what are you, the worse half, the sloppy leftovers? If you really believe your partner is the better half, why would they settle for you? By definition, they should have traded up. You're walking around advertising, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the discount portion of this couple. Nobody calls their partner their equal half. That would make sense. But no, it's always better half. What do you call yourself then? The defective half. And isn't it funny how people say, we complete each other? Complete each other. Complete, you're both unfinished puzzles missing a few pieces. What the hell were you before? Walking around half-built like IKEA furniture with no screws? Oh, thank God Brenda showed up. Now I have all 4 legs on my table. You were a whole person before, you were fine. But the language of love insists you're incomplete unless somebody else plugs into your socket. And don't get me started on a forever. Forever is the biggest scam in the romance dictionary. People throw a forever around like confetti. I'll love you forever. Forever. People can't even commit to a cable package forever. Forever is a long time. You don't know what you're having for lunch tomorrow, but you're sure you'll love someone until the end of time. And when it ends, people always say, well, I meant forever at the time. That's not forever, that's a Groupon. That's a limited time offer. Then you've got always. And then you've got always. Always is forever's little cousin. I'll always be there for you. Always. What about when you're in the shower? What about when you're asleep? Always? Come on. And a never. Oh, never is the sneakiest one. I'll never hurt you. Bullshit. Everybody hurts everybody hurts everybody. The only way to never hurt someone is to never meet them. Second you let another human into your life, pain is part of the package. That's not cynicism, that's logistics. And love letters, oh man. You ever read old letters? They're all the same. My darling, I cannot live without you. Yes, you can. People say I can't live without you like their lungs are gonna stop if the other person walks away. Then they break up and 6 months later they're alive, dating someone else. And suddenly writing, I can't live without you to the new one. Which one is it? You can't live without anyone except maybe the guy who makes your morning coffee. And the songs. Love songs are the worst offenders. Love songs are just dictionaries set to music. I'll never stop loving you. You're my everything. Without you, I'm nothing. Nothing? Really? You're nothing? That's a hell of a way to build self-esteem. Imagine singing that to your boss. Without this job, I'm nothing. You'd be fired immediately. But in love, it sounds romantic. And then there's the way couples invent little secret languages. Pet names, inside jokes, stupid catchphrases only they understand. To them, it's adorable. To everyone else, it's nauseating. You're at dinner with another couple and they're over there going, you tee-hee blop blop. That's what we say. Great. Glad I could witness your private mental illness. Nothing makes you want to throw up in your soup faster than 2 people speaking their own language at the table like they're from a different planet. But here's the kicker. Even the arguments have their own language. You ever notice that? Couples fight in code? It's not about the dishes. Yes, it is. It's about the dishes. You're not mad about world peace. You're mad someone left spaghetti stuck to the fork. But no, it's never about the dishes. It's about our respect. It's about a feeling heard. Which is love language for you, wrong, but I don't want to say it out loud. And apologies. Oh, the love language apology. Nobody ever says, I'm sorry I was being a selfish jackass. No, it's always, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. That's blaming the other person for having emotions. That's like saying, I'm sorry you're too stupid to enjoy my behavior. That's the poetry of modern relationships. And all these phrases, or falling in love, a soulmate, a better half forever, they all sound so deep when you're in it, but from the outside they're hilarious. It's like listening to 2 people describing a UFO sighting. They're convinced they've seen something transcendent, but really it's just swamp gas and loneliness. The language of love is comedy because it's the one area where people willfully suspend all their usual logic. You don't hear this stuff in any other context. Nobody walks into a car dealership and says, I found my soulmate vehicle. We'll be together forever. This is my better half? No. But in love? Totally normal, and that's why it's funny. It's a parallel universe with its own rules, its own dictionary, and none of it makes sense unless you're already infected with the same virus. That's the thing about love language. It's not about accuracy. It's about comfort. It's about making nonsense sound profound. Because deep down, we know the truth. Love is messy. It's temporary. It's unpredictable. So we invent words that cover up the cracks. We say forever because probably until I get annoyed doesn't sell greeting cards. We say a soulmate because this person will do for now sounds a little too honest. The comedy is right there in the gap between what the words mean and what the reality looks like. And that's why listening to the language of love is like sitting in on the greatest comedy show on earth. Nobody even realizes they're telling jokes, but every sentence is a punchline waiting to happen. You ever notice that being in a relationship is basically like signing up for the longest running comedy act on earth? On earth. Two people under one roof, day after day, night after night, trying to live together without strangling each other. It's not romance. It's slapstick. Relationships are just an endless series of tiny sketches. Half the time it's Laurel and Hardy, the other half it's Abbott and Costello. And every once in a while it's just two clowns trying to screw in a light bulb. Think about the daily routines. You live alone, everything makes sense. Your socks are where you left them, your toothpaste lasts 6 months, the thermostat stays exactly where you want it. Then someone moves in and suddenly toothpaste is vanishing like it's made of gold dust. Socks are reproducing in corners of the house, and the thermostat becomes the nuclear launch codes. There's no compromise on the thermostat. There's only war by degrees. It's too hot. It's too cold. They can see my breath. I'm sweating through my underwear. Every relationship in history has had at least one fight that boiled down to 72 versus 68. And sleeping next to someone. Forget it. That's not peaceful. That's nightly combat. Nobody tells you that before you move in. Sleeping next to the person you love sounds romantic. Until you find out they snore like a dying lawnmower, hog the blanket like it's a security contract, and roll over so aggressively you're basically one push away from the floor. And pillows? Don't get me started. Somehow you go from having one normal pillow to a bed that looks like the showroom of a furniture store. 26 decorative pillows that serve no purpose except to piss you off when you have to stack them on the floor every night before bed. And then the bathroom. Oh, the bathroom. That's where the comedy really shines. One toothbrush, now you got two. One towel, suddenly the linen closet looks like you're running a hotel. You got soap shaped like seashells, little bottles of lotion, scented candles. You know what used to be in there before? Soap, just soap. A bar of soap and maybe some shampoo if you remembered now. Now it's like a Bed Bath & Beyond exploded. And the funniest part? You're not even allowed to touch half of it. And no, don't use that towel, that's the guest towel. Like we're expecting the Pope to stop by and wash his hands. I've lived places where we didn't even have guests, but we still had a guest towel. And the shower. How many bottles of shampoo does one human need? I used to have one bottle. Shampoo and conditioner, 2 in 1, get the job done. Now there's 10 bottles lined up like a science experiment. Volumizing, moisturizing, color safe, deep cleaning. Half of them don't even sound like shampoo. With jojoba and sea kelp? I don't even know what jojoba is. I thought sea kelp was something whales ate. But no, now it's in my shower, making my hair smell like a salad. And meals? Meals are a sitcom all on their own. You live alone. Dinner is whatever you want. You eat a cold sandwich standing over the sink. You eat cereal at midnight. Nobody cares. You get in a relationship, suddenly it's meal planning. Now you're having a date night dinners. You're having conversations about what's for dinner that lasts longer than the dinner itself. And somehow it always turns into an argument. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want? You'd think two people could decide on a plate of food, but no. By the time you agree, you're starving, cranky, and considering just eating the decorative candles from the bathroom and grocery shopping together. Oh, that's its own variety show. You ever see couples in the grocery store? One of them's pushing the cart like they're on a mission, the other one's wandering off to look at things nobody needs. Why are you in the cookie aisle? We came here for milk. I like looking at the cookies. Suddenly, you've got 30 items in the cart and half of them are snacks you didn't even know existed. And then at checkout, you're both standing there pretending the total isn't horrifying. Or did we really spend that much? We just came in for milk. Yeah, and now you own stock in potato chips. And then the TV. The TV is where couples prove they are fundamentally incompatible human beings. You want to watch a documentary, they want to watch a reality show. You want to watch sports, they want to watch a cooking competition. You think flipping channels is simple until you live with someone. Then it's a hostage negotiation. Can we just watch this for 5 minutes? So fine, but then we're switching. Next thing you know, you've been watching home renovation shows for 6 hours and you're arguing about whether shiplap is tacky. And holidays, relationships turn holidays into sketch comedy. When you're single, holidays are simple. You go to your parents, you eat, you leave, and leave. When you're in a relationship, suddenly you're negotiating like the United Nations. We'll spend Thanksgiving with my family, Christmas with yours, New Year's with my friends, Easter with your cousins. By the time you're done, you've spent more time in traffic than at the table. And the family dynamics. Nothing says a true love like sitting in someone else's living room pretending to enjoy a fruitcake. And arguments, those are the recurring sketches. Every couple has the same arguments on repeat. Where do you want to eat? Well, why don't you ever put the seat down? Why do you always leave the lights on? It's like a sitcom with the same script every week. And no matter how many times you solve it, it comes back. It's like a rerun. You could film it, put it on TV, and people would go, "Hey, I've seen this one before." But here's the funniest part. Through all of it, the little routines, the fights, the ridiculous habits, it somehow works. That's the joke. Because if you take any of these moments out of context, they sound insane. 2 adults arguing for 20 minutes about which side of the bed to sleep on? Crazy. But in the context of love, it's normal. It's life. It's comedy without a laugh track. And the reason it works as comedy is because nobody's immune. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how tough you are, how independent you are. Get into a relationship, and you're suddenly part of the longest-running comedy act there is. You're playing your part, whether you like it or not. And the only way to survive it is to learn to laugh at it. Because if you don't, the absurdity will eat you alive. That's the punchline of relationships. Not the romance, not the passion, not the big moments. It's the everyday nonsense. The socks, the blankets, the thermostat wars, the decorative pillows, the guest towels. That's the real show. That's the comedy hidden in love.